This morning I wrote my cousin, whose obscenely dysfunctional childhood was actually, much worse than mine was. Although I remember when it comes to dysfunctional childhoods, I'm a strong proponent of the belief that there's no worse or better, because everybody experiences things differently and things affect everybody differently. That's why someone can go through worse than someone else, yet the one who didn't go through as much commits suicide, and the one who went through worse things remains strong and struggles on, maybe even despite wanting to die, My mother's psychologist. Oh, by the way, that letter, I planned it. It's not that long anyway, the note, whatever. The note my mom's going to be able to wave around, proudly displaying, just like she proudly read it to me and my cousin while I was just sinking more and more into despair. That, of course, manifested itself into rage, me yelling and being sarcastic, Just like before my cousin was coming, I was being sarcastic. Why don't you go buy a car tomorrow, The goddamn fucking psychologist, who I can't stand for valid reasons. Now I have more valid reasons to despise the man, is acting like he's my mother's friend instead of her psychologist. He doesn't even have the facts straight. The letter's dated July 28th. It says Samantha was hospitalized. He's just glossing over the truth. The truth is, he's glossing over the truth. Samantha was hospitalized last month due to an unevenness in her medication that has now been, adjusted, and she far surpasses, in normal functioning, blah, 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 and can take care of all her personal financial affairs, blah, blah, blah. Okay. He doesn't even have the facts straight. My friends know. My friends, or even my enemies who have been following me just to ridicule me or something, that my mother was not hospitalized last month due to an unevenness in her medication. She got out last month. No, I'm sorry, she got out. What's wrong with him? It's dated July 28th. It's not even that she got out the month before June. She went in to one mental hospital on February 6th, 2014, Thursday, because February 7th was when Marion returned from her vacation. And then I believe, I'll check my records, but I believe she got out on May 22nd. And that's the day that I brought homework to her. I believe it was something around there. She was in 2 different mental hospitals for 3.5 months, so his letter doesn't even have the right facts on it. And my cousin she's just trying to make me feel better. She's not a bitch. She's extremely intelligent, deep, aware. Like I said, she went through a worse childhood than I did, and she emerged from it whole, not unscathed, not completely normal, She's fucked up in different ways, just like I admittedly am, but she didn't happen to me. She didn't become a total basket case, Didn't wind up going in at a mental hospital, didn't wind up following in her mother's footsteps, just like I did. Thankfully so, okay? And she gets it. She can't, just like me, she can't stand the people who just think, the people like my cousin, who had completely normal, happy, and it would just say, oh, just get over your past, or I know people who suffered more, they don't act, she doesn't care about any of that shit. She's cool as hell. I wrote her like an 8-page letter, 6-page letter this morning. I'm going to read you guys, I'm splitting it up, because I have to copy it over so she can actually read it. If I can't read my own writing sometimes, I'm sure other people probably can't. Also, that woman who was helping me in the shelter, she's amazing in her ability to read my scrawl. I wrote her something like, I don't know if you can read this. She's like, I can read it. Like, wow, that's impressive. He doesn't even have the facts straight. My mother was hospitalized on February 6th and didn't get out until May 22nd from the second mental hospital. Not that any of us still, because my mom's never going to know. She doesn't remember why the same day she was released from one, she wound up in another one. It's because Marion agitated her. Marion went and picked her up. I had misgivings about that. And my fears came true, and as you know, her social worker then would refuse to even tell Cheryl was calling and emailing, and the woman didn't care, She doesn't like me, and she didn't care that I was going crazy not knowing where my mother was. I'm sure she felt that it wasn't necessary for me to know. She can claim she didn't ever release. She can fall back on the hip a lot. My cousin's like, but you were family. Yeah, not only was I family, I was the one she knew had gotten my mom. I'd stepped up to the plate. I'd gotten my mom the help my mom clearly needed. And now all these so-called professionals are just going to reinforce my mother's belief that as long as she takes her meds, she's perfectly fine and she'll remain that way. It's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable. But even that stupid bullshit note doesn't even have its facts straight. That's what pisses me off. And my cousin, due to that and other things, it said, she's like, well, if your mom gets in a car and dies, you can sue that psychologist. Well, A, I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that. She can say that all she wants, but B, I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care about this money. I don't fucking care if my mother becomes rich. I don't want anything from her. I want her to not drive, and I can't stop it, not when she's able to wave around that fucking note. My cousin, who sadly agrees with me, because before my mom read us that note when I was talking to my cousin, she was like, well, my mom hadn't yet read the note to us, so I don't think she had. Everything becomes a blur, Oh, that's right. It was before she was down, and I was talking to her for a long time on the phone, and she was saying that she and my uncle and my mom was going to have her take care of her money, or my mom's money, or whatnot, rather than have it be a stranger. And of course it can't be me, and I wouldn't want it to be me, even though that's what Marion's always fallen back on. That I'm after my mom's money. She's a conniving bitch. She's for the power of your money. Fuck you, you fucking worthless cunt. I hate you. Anyway, my cousin back then, before we knew about my mom, that note that my mom will now be able to show anybody and wave around, Just like Marion waved around that power of attorney like it was the Holy Grail. My mom's going to wave around this note. I've been seeing her for 2 years. She has drastically improved. She now surpasses what would be called normal in any way concerning functioning. She's, in my opinion, perfectly capable of handling all her personal financial affairs. And my cousin's like, well, it doesn't outright state she can drive. Yeah, but it's implied. I know she's not keeping this secret. She doesn't keep stuff secret when it comes to stuff she wants to do. You know that she's talking to these people and they're encouraging her. That would be great, Samantha. You'll be independent again. Go ahead. Go buy a car. You have the money. Go drive, Fuck them all. And I'm shit. It doesn't matter if I release this now. Like I told my cousin, the damage is done. All those times, even back in 2010, everyone's against me. They're hiding my mom's whereabouts from me, and then it happens again when I never thought it could. My mom should have got releases a long time ago, but she just doesn't think of doing shit like that. And look what happened to me when I was living with Bobby. And Mary didn't fucking care. She didn't care. Cheryl would write to her, email her. I know Cheryl was doing that because Cheryl didn't even know who my mom was. In the end, I found out by chance from my mom's friend, who my mom happened to call from the mental hospital and happened to call from the patient line, because even knowing where my mom was because of the HIPAA law, I wouldn't have been able to, It's just bullshit. It's bullshit that Mary didn't care. And even Cheryl was like, I'm like, she doesn't want me to know where my mother is. It's unbelievable. But you have to remember, too, even now, in order to elicit sympathy from everyone, my mother's just gonna say what she always says. Oh, Laura's being mean to me. She thinks I'm crazy. She thinks I shouldn't be driving, that I'm not competent enough. And they'll say, oh, don't worry, Samantha, you're competent enough. Who cares? Your daughter's, I know what goes on. I witnessed it firsthand, Told you when she was sick, she'd cry to her friends. She yells at me for no reason. She's keeping Homer from me and all this crap. I'm so tired of it. I don't fucking care anymore. My cousin wasn't trying to be, because she feels it too. She's like, because before she was saying, well, if me and my uncle and you all write to the DMV, no, not with, and now she agrees with me with a letter from her psychologist. Your mom's golden. We can't stop it. And so she said, well, if anything happens to your mom, if she dies or gets in a car and dies, you can sue that. So, yeah, sure, you can. Like I would even care to do it. Like money means shit to me, Marion still was thrown just recently, a couple of weeks ago, thrown in my mom's face. You couldn't get him open. I said to my cousin, why did Marion say that my mom... You remember she took her credit card away, we'll open a Macy's charge, because my mom needed to buy bras and stuff, and then my mom wasn't able to, and Marion, who knows why my mom wasn't able to. Like my wise, smart cousin who studied all kinds of crap on her own just to study it, studied law, whatever. She's like, we don't know what Marion has done. Marion can say anything. Maybe Marion declared bankruptcy in your mom's name. You never know. Just because she said she was paying off those credit card debt that my mom had run up doesn't mean she actually did. We just don't know. Because Marion threw it back in my mom's face. Marion said that she was paying, my mom was saying Marion's paying off on my credit card debt, but how do you know she actually did that, Mom? We weren't able to open a Macy's charge? Who knows? But I know it wasn't what Marion said, because of your daughter, but Marion always blames me, Anyway, dear Jasmine, because I was just telling Jasmine, I'm starting to hate my mother, but of course that's not true. I don't hate my mother. It's just the opposite. I can't take the pain. I can't take it anymore. So ridiculous. I just didn't think I'd be faced with this. Because when I was planning on living with my mom, she used to periodically say, because we'd have to walk to the bus stop and whatever, and this wouldn't happen. Why don't you just let me get a car, Laura? No, Mom. Even for my own convenience, even though it was a pain, especially in the winter, to walk place, I said I didn't want her to get a car. And even now for her to get a car, it's just insanity. Especially since we're in Massachusetts and it's going to be winter, like 5 months out of the year. I mean, it's just... But you can have periodic sudden snowstorms and this and that. Just based on everything I see, she shouldn't be driving, and I know it. And no one's gonna listen to me because it doesn't matter if I have my stupid releases with my mom's psychologist and social worker now. It doesn't mean anything. They don't give me any say in anything. It doesn't mean anyone's gonna fucking listen to me. I said to my cousin yesterday, we were walking to the store to get stuff, she's contributing food, and she cooks, and she's going to make some vegetarian meals. She made vegetarian, burritos last night. They were delicious, and I bought food too, because even though technically my mom's going to be rich, she doesn't have the money yet, so she's, so I spent $100 on food yesterday. No more than 100, and my cousin spent 100, and then my mom will go Tuesday and buy food, I'll probably walk down there, because my mom doesn't have much time when she goes with the, the elderly bus, whatever, that she goes to for free. My mom shouldn't be driving. She still forgets stuff. I tell her, don't do this. Last night she left her food with the chair, and thankfully it wasn't chicken bones, but it could have been. She forgets. She went to her room, left her burrito sitting at the edge of the table with the chair up, and I've already told her more than once, she's seen it happen. Oma will jump up on that chair and grab what's ever there, and she forgets, but she's going to be driving. It's a joke. She forgets things I tell her that are really, really important, but she's going to be driving. Yeah, that's because this hell never ends for me. So anyway, dear Jasmine, because I was saying, I started to hate my mother, and she got me upset. She's like, well, if you hate your mother, do you really think you should be part of her, her healthcare decisions? I think that, what? Whatever. Well, I got mad because I don't hate her, and she's my mother, and I'm her daughter. I thought healthcare products is just if something major happens, I would have some say in what happens to her. And my cousin's like, well, I don't know. It can even happen make decisions about putting her in the hospital or something. Maybe if you hate her, you should. And I don't hate her, but I have to emotionally distance myself from this, because she intends to drive again, and I'm gonna probably lose her. You say, well, that's pessimistic. I don't care. Based on everything I've seen, and then she has this bullshit letter. Her psychologist doesn't fucking live with her. He's an arrogant, pompous prick, okay? Who she loves, of course, because he's going along with everything. Dear Jasmine, I don't hate my mother. What I absolutely despise is existence itself. What I absolutely hate is this living hell I've been suffering through over the past nearly 6 years. So if in the end all those, and I'm being sarcastic here, people, and yes, I do intend to type up that letter. I stole it and I wrote it down. It wasn't that long. And share it with my 2 female YouTube friends who are, anyway. So, if in the end all those so-called professionals in my mother's life convince my mother that her, in quotations, crazy daughter, shouldn't ever be allowed to make any healthcare decisions on my own mother's behalf, in other words, be a part of my mother's healthcare proxy in any manner whatsoever, I'm not going to argue or try to fight against this, I'm being sarcastic here, group decision that will, after all, only be meant to protect my poor mother from the possibly malicious intentions of her, in quotations, crazy daughter, equals I'll simply add this latest insult, latest heartbreak, in parentheses, that I can almost guarantee you is going to enter my reality sometime in the near future, to the massive pile of pain, heartbreak, and outright trauma that is now and has been for too many years churning around inside of me on a daily basis. Oh, and this is the nitty-gritty, my friends and enemies alike, friends and foes alike. And for the record, it actually means absolutely nothing, in all capitals, to me, that my mother has finally woken up and seen what, at least when it came to everyone in my so-called family, I have been 100% all alone in seeing for years. That should be I had been. I'll change that, I had been. Because it's not true anymore. Like that cousin said, it's not true anymore. You're not all alone now. You have me and our uncle, yeah. Our uncle is a religious nut, plain and simple. He's the one that tried to shove Jesus down my throat at the after party, whatever you call it, the reception after my aunt's funeral, But And I don't know him from Adam, but my cousin's now on my side 100%. I mean, she gets it, she sees it, and she's disgusted with what's been going on. But anyway, my so-called family, I had been understood all alone in quotation, seeing for years, colon, in light of the sad, disgusting to me fact that with the total blessing, encouragement, and support of all the so-called professionals in my mother's life, my mother intends to do again what I know deep down to my very soul my mother should never do again. In other words, i.e., get behind the wheel of a car. None, in all capitals, of this newfound quotations awareness on my mother's part means shit to me. Jasmine. None of it. To be continued. Remember, I already wrote a 6, 7, or 8 page letter, whatever it is, but I'm only doing this one part right now. My mother's watching her charm, but she could come in here because she's going with her social worker today to Lowe's to get paint and stuff, because my cousin's going to paint the hallway and paint the spare bedroom, which is my room, and I guess paint my mom's room too. I guess tear down this wallpaper. So she's going to be doing stuff for my mom. Which is nice, since my mom did pay $600 for my cousin to come here, the air ticket, I'm staying here only because she's here. Once she's gone, I have to emotionally distance myself from my mother. I still want her to keep me updated. Obviously, I want to see how this all pans out, how it all ends, but emotional distance, I won't, and I'll talk to her on the phone sometimes, but I won't be coming here unless it's to get Omar, if I find Omar and I a new home, miraculously, if that happens. And that's it. I'll keep you guys posted. I will slowly give, I'm going to just give her this first part, because I don't feel like copying a long letter. It takes time, it's tedious. So I'll give her just this first part I wrote at the end, to be continued. I'll give her a little part of it a day. I already wrote it, I just have to tweak it, Her isn't my cousin, who's awesome. I mean that. Why would I lie to you guys? If I hated her, I would tell you, because I don't lie out here except to protect my location or something. I don't lie. Marion lies through her teeth. Marion's a pathological liar. I'm not alone in this anymore, but I still can't stop my mom from doing what I know in my heart she shouldn't do. I know it, and my mother will just say, I'm just being mean, or I'm being overprotective, or I'm being a brat. My mom will elicit sympathy from people, This isn't a power trip. My real friends know I'm not on some kind of power trip. I don't even fucking care if my mom becomes technically wealthy or relatively so. I don't fucking want anything from her except what I can't have, which is for her to acknowledge the fact that she should not be driving again. Oh well, huh?